Recipes for technical trading success in Cook's Kitchen.
Welcome back to Cook's Kitchen, and boy, have I got a story for you today. I'll try and keep it under 10 minutes, but you know how I get going, I get carried away. Listen, whenever I want to look at the future of the economy, I'm drawn to technology, and lately especially anything to do with software, big data, artificial intelligence not so much, but I talk about this a lot. Last year I said you've got to buy IBM, Microsoft, Amazon, and Google on the pullbacks because they're going to be at the forefront of technology, taking software and turning it into robotics and basically changing the global economy. Today we're going to focus on software as a service, and stay with me to the end because I'm going to really drill down into some specific companies that you can watch and learn to get a grasp on this whole thing. So let's go big picture, let's go into the clouds and look at all the companies that comprise the cloud area and software as a service. So you see over on the far side there, SaaS, software as a service. A lot of names you're going to recognize in here. Let's just go over the categories. Business management, vertical apps, cloud security, CRM, obviously Salesforce is in here. Bunch of names. Blow this up on YouTube, go full screen so you can get a look at it. Over here, PaaS. This is like the performance management stuff. So not the software that businesses are using to run their business, but these companies analyze the other software, so to speak. And we just had a big merger. Cisco bought one of these companies a couple weeks ago, and I wrote about that. We'll talk about that in a second. And then you have the IaaS. These are the infrastructure companies. So now this slide from Cloud Times is from 2011. So there's 150 companies on here, and it was only 2011. But it was such a great graphic that I had to show it to you. So, it's a jungle out there, right, in the clouds? Next up, this is a more recent slide. Let's fast forward to 2015. It's based on a VC fund called Battery Ventures, and this is their SaaS success database. So they're just tracking a lot of companies over here on the left, companies that have been acquired as of 2015. This was like August 2015, I believe. And then here's a bunch more public companies. You've got, DealerTrack, Paylocity, New Relic. We'll talk about them in a second again. Salesforce is in here, obviously. Shopify, Workday, Zendesk, and showing some of these valuations. Workday got up to 15 billion valuation. Up here you see AppDynamics. This was the company that was acquired by Cisco a couple weeks ago for about 3.7 billion. And there's an asterisk here because Battery Ventures had a stake in that. You see Slack on here, MailChimp, SurveyMonkey, Hootsuite. So a lot of things going on in the SaaS world. But again, the reason I focus on it is because when you try and understand what any of these SaaS companies are doing, you're getting an education on what's going on in the economy. Not just somebody using the cloud, but what is that software doing for the customer? So over here on the left, I wrote this article January 27th. Cisco snatches IPO baby from the arms of Wall Street. That was AppDynamics. And I say it was snatched, the IPO baby was snatched from the arms of Wall Street because AppDynamics already had a stock symbol and was set to IPO that week. APPD was the symbol, and Cisco came in and snatched them. AppDynamics is application performance management. So that was the stock, the platform management stocks that we looked at. Back up here. So, and notice my next header down here: Tech Titans clash with war chests of cash. That's what you're seeing here. This is what I was talking about a lot last year. Google and IBM and Oracle competing to buy these companies, before the other guy gets them. And sometimes they don't even care what they pay. Look at, none of these are in the billion valuation here. None of them are over $1 billion. And so, but there certainly have been. And this is just 2011 and 2014. So Cisco really, defines the new pace when they're, going out and buying this company for $3.7 billion, and you're going to continue to see these guys compete, the tech titans, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Cisco, Oracle, IBM, competing for new technology before the other guy gets it, so to speak. All right, so what's going on? This is a slide from Zuora's pitch deck. We now live in a subscription economy. Shift happens. So this is what SaaS is all about, right? You don't buy the box of software, install it, and then wait for an update later. Everything is software as a service. You pay for it monthly. You get constant updates and better service from the developer. All right, here's what I call the GAF economy: Google, Amazon, and Facebook. Google has a huge VC portfolio. Now it's called Alphabet, obviously, and Google Ventures is now called GV. They own 300 companies, probably more. And they've either incubated the startup or they came in at a later stage. Amazon is just, their ecosystem just keeps evolving. It's just a force. And then Facebook. Facebook's mission, I heard they updated their mission recently, more about community. They're moving beyond just connecting friends and family and trying to be a good citizen and creating communities and groups around the world. That's true, but Wall Street just cares about the ad revenue, which is through the roof. $26.5 billion in ad revenue last year, and they're going to grow that another 35% this year because it is an awesome platform for a small or medium-sized business to get access to targeted audiences. Set a budget for your ad spend, target an audience, test out your ads, and then be able to track it. So Facebook has really liberated small businesses, whether they're advertising locally or trying to do something global with say a digital product. All right, so the GAF economy is huge. It always pays to look at what Google, Amazon, or Facebook are doing. Try and study it, and you see how their tentacles are everywhere. So they're helping create, a new type of economy that entrepreneurs of all sizes can get access to. All right, still relevant are other tech innovators: Microsoft, IBM, Oracle, Salesforce, and Tableau data. I don't know if you guys know this story about the battle over LinkedIn. Microsoft goes to buy them, but there was a little bit of a war of words between Nadella and Benioff of CRM because Microsoft had sent their friends, Benioff and Nadella, or they were, and Benioff let a Microsoft chief come in and look at things and learn how they do things, and the next thing you know, Microsoft is turning around and buying LinkedIn. And Benioff and CRM had an issue with that because they look at, hey, these firms can buy LinkedIn data and obviously target their advertising, and they were afraid that Microsoft might shut that down. So I don't know if there's ever going to be any real antitrust issues there, but there's definitely, it raises the issue of the proprietary capital of databases of people's information, like Facebook has, and now LinkedIn is giving it away. All right, what else do we want to look at? William Blair had their first annual Magnet conference back in November, and here were some of the key points. They were speaking to 50 big tech buyers, some of the biggest companies we've talked about who equate to about $50 billion in CapEx. Whether they're doing M&A or buying software. The shift to the cloud, they said, for SaaS is still in the early innings. And the legacy vendors were viewed as providing mediocre solutions with limited innovation. So maybe that's an IBM or an Oracle versus some of the young up-and-coming firms, and there's hundreds of them now. All right, large enterprises growing developer base by 7% annually. In other words, they're still hiring like crazy. Doubling or tripling the rate of GDP growth in terms of their hiring of developer talent. All right, so I said stay to the end because it was gonna, I was gonna give you some more specifics. So what I'm doing is really studying individual companies, not just the GAF economy, Google, Amazon, Facebook, but then pick a software as a service company, look at its business model, see who their customers are, see who their vendors are, and it enlightens you to the shifts that are happening in the economy, the direction of resources and information and capital. HubSpot is one, a really interesting company that I like to look at. They claim to have invented inbound marketing, where somebody on the internet, puts their feelers out there, puts an ad on Facebook or uses Google AdWords and attracts a lead with some compelling free offer. Whether it's a white paper, an ebook, a class, and then attracts a lead, captures their email address, and then nurtures that lead with a whole email routine, email sequence to find out, is this a customer that we can serve, and keep drawing them in, pulling them in to their solutions, and offering them obviously higher price or more advanced solutions that they can charge more for. Zendesk and Twilio are similar companies. They're sort of the new wave of customer call centers and customer service online. Whether it's automated chatbots or voice recognition, and both of those companies are ones to watch. For HubSpot, I forgot to mention any of these companies with symbols in parentheses. Those are public companies trading. HubSpot has a sort of a competitor called Infusionsoft, not public. Their business model is one to watch too. And then lastly, Thumbtack. Thumbtack is like the new style of Angie's List, right? These, in the mobile sharing gig economy, you have people providing services to each other anywhere in the world, and so Thumbtack is one of these. There's TaskRabbit here in the U.S. Thumbtack is global now. They're not public, nor is TaskRabbit, and so it's a way for you to find a better plumber or electrician or somebody to write code for you, build a website for you, give you music lessons, whatever. And it could be local or it could be global. And obviously there's room for more of these companies, because there's one in Australia called Airtasker, which just raised $23 million in a Series B round. And so they're going to be sort of the Thumbtack or the TaskRabbit of Australia. All right, so hope I gave you some ideas here. Look at any of these SaaS companies, study them, and it tells you about the future of work and the economy. All right, thanks for joining me in the kitchen.